going to help me clean the coop today.
Today I'm going to give you guys a tour of the coop, and then I'm also going to walk you through. I just cleaned it. Now, I had sand in here during the summer, and I had moved my sand out probably November, just because the chickens were starting to come into the coop more as it got colder. And anyway, I digress. I will go over sand with you guys in the spring. For now, I'm going to go over with how I clean the coop. So this is just something I do. I wash down the roosts with just a solution of water, vinegar, and soap, and a little bit of clove oil. And you guys, this is just because the chickens poop on here, and the chicken poop is the #1 reason for spread of disease, which is the only reason I'm really even bothering with this right now. If I wasn't so worried about any kind of diseases spreading through the poop, I wouldn't even bother with this step, but I just do it. And then also another reason I do this is because lice does travel. Lice and mites will travel from chicken to chicken, because in the wintertime, they get real close together when they're roosting. So wet, I'm going to be using First Saturday Lime. This is just a natural method of pest control in your garden, in your house, and in any kind of chicken coop area. If there is any kind of lice or mite on there, it's going to be killing it and not spreading it to the chickens. I also will spread this all around the ground. I'm going to save my water for later. I'm going to clean out the nesting boxes with this water later. But for now, I'm also going to spray this all over the floor. Or not spray it. It's not a spray. It's a powder. We're going to be powdering the whole floor with this before we lay down our bedding. You don't want humidity in the wintertime, so you want dry bedding. So this will help dry out your bedding. And it'll also help with any kind of pests you have laying around. It's also going to help freshen the coop, so you can use it as a coop refresher. Basically, it's going to control the moisture, so that's great. You don't want humidity in the coop during the wintertime, because that's how chickens will get the frostbite. The vents on the top are what's going to help control the humidity, and then also using stuff like this that's going to suck the moisture out of your bedding will also help with humidity. So, now that I have my layer down, next step is going to be putting down my bedding. And I just use Tractor Supply. It's like my go-to. Tractor Supply bedding. You guys, this one right here is the most cost-effective one I have found that has the least amount of dust. Alrighty, so this is pretty much quick, easy, to the point. That's how I lay it down, apply it. I do put a thick layer underneath the roost. Every day I come in here and I just take a pitchfork and I'm going to be rotating it around, and then I'll sprinkle some more. Here, I'll just show you what I do. I will just come in here every morning, just take a very small amount, rotate all of the droppings that occurred over the night, and then I'll take this over here to kind of suck that moisture out of it, because again, you don't want any kind of moisture in the coop. So something else I offer up to my chickens during the winter time is going to be a dust bath. Now typically they are going to maintain their cleanliness on their own. How they do this is by rolling around in the dirt. So if you're ever seeing a chicken rolling around in the dirt, what they're doing is taking a bath, and that just basically dust and whatever else they can roll in that's light and fluffy will allow them to kind of naturally take care of mites, lice, and any other kind of parasite that wants to live on them naturally. So in the wintertime, it's harder for them to find fluffy patches of dirt. And actually, I'm using peat moss right now. You don't have to use peat moss. Dirt that you find outside is just fine. I just don't have any dry, fluffy dirt right now that I could use because it is winter. So I just fill this this is just I don't know, it's a cattle bucket. I don't know what specifically it's called. You just need a big bucket of some kind. You don't have to be fancy with it. It just needs to hold dirt and be large enough for them to roll around in. So dirt is going to be your #1 ingredient. Again, I found peat moss because it's the middle of winter and the dirt outside is not going to work. It's wet, it's soggy, It's not going to be fluffy and do its thing. So, once I have this filled with about 1/3 of the way up with this peat moss, I'll then go in with my first Saturday lime. Again, when they dust in this first Saturday lime, it's going to allow them to get it as like a little protective coating. And it's going to help fight against pests. So I mix this up in there with it. 2 scoops, and the scoops comes with it. So I just do 2 scoops of this. And then I did have wood ash, but the wind took it. So this is all that's left of my wood ash. The next thing you're going to want to put in there is wood ash. And usually I had this whole thing filled with wood ash. So you're going to have to just pretend for now until I can go find some more. But this is just also another little lightweight dusting thing that they can put on and roll in this. So basically, I don't know if I can get anybody in here to do it. Come here. Look it. Come here. I'll try to get video footage of them rolling around in this. I don't know that it's going to happen. They're all being weird right now. But basically, yeah, this is just a light, fluffy material that they're going to be able to dust bathe in and keep themselves naturally healthy. You don't really want to interfere that much. I have given my chickens baths before. It was a worst case scenario. It was the middle of winter. I hadn't put a dust bath out yet, and a couple of them did get some lice. Now, the lice that I'm talking about is an avian lice. It is not transmitted to humans. So if you do see your animals with lice, or your chickens, I'm sorry, with lice, don't freak out. They're not going to be able to pass it to you or your family or even your animals. It's going to affect feathers. So most times they get it from wild birds. All of my chickens free range, and so that's really where they get most of their lice and or mites. But dust bathing, again, allows them to naturally protect themselves from any kind of animal out or any kind of pest out there. So I like to provide this for them in the coop so they have a constant dry area to be taking a bath. These are our cubbies that we're using for our nesting boxes. And the reason I'm doing them like this is because they are super easy to clean. You basically can just take them apart, pat them down, and then do the same over here, like this. And then I just take a broom, find my broom, and I sweep it down. For me, the nesting boxes, whether I'm cleaning the coop or not, I do them every month because I don't want dirty eggs. I am very, very, I don't like washing my eggs, and it just, I sell them and I don't want to have to, worry about the eggs being dirty in any way, shape, or form. So I do clean out their nesting boxes every month religiously. So it's just something I do. Not necessarily something everybody does, but to each his own. And I just love this method because, like I said, you can just pull them apart and they work very easy. So then I'm going to come in here with my warm water, vinegar, soap, and clove oil. The reason I use specifically clove oil is because it is a natural deterrent for a lot of pests. Couple different things in our nesting boxes. The girls seem to like the pine shavings the most, so that's what we go with. And then it just makes it easy for me because when I'm changing out the bedding in the coop, I don't have to think about it too hard. I'm here, we just screwed these little 2x4s onto there, and I just fill it up to the top because that's another thing. If you don't have enough bedding in there, when a chicken lays its egg, sometimes it'll stand up to lay its egg. And so if you don't have enough bedding in there, it actually could make contact with a hard surface and that egg would crack. So give you guys a quick tour of the coop. It's still not finished. I mean, there's still a little bit of work to be done, but we're really happy with how it turned out. This is actually a old, what would we call it? It was in a mudroom that was attached to a trailer house. So when they moved the trailer house, they needed to sell this mudroom house. So we're still working on ventilation. But in terms of insulation and everything like that, I mean, we have had great success with this. So I would definitely check out Craigslist for mudrooms that were attached to trailer houses, because we got this for extremely cheap. I think we ended up paying about $300 for this, and it's huge. I don't know the exact size of it, but I know it's got to be at least 10 feet wide by 16 feet long. I don't know exact measurements, but we got a really good deal on it, and we love it. So I'm going to give you guys a quick tour of it here in a second. This is the entrance to the coop, and this was the front area. So we ended up getting some free cabinets online, and I put those on the wall. And actually this quote-unquote shiplap that you're seeing is actually a siding from our house. So when we redid our house and got a garage addition, we basically took all the scraps that they took off the house and made it into quote-unquote shiplap. So I have their feed and their water in here, just so that it kind of is protected from wild birds. And then there is their nesting boxes. It's where I keep their food. Oh, here we go. There's a chicken. There hasn't been a chicken in this entire video. So there's their dust bath. This was their old nesting box area, but I had chickens that were sleeping in it, and I could not break them of it, so no matter what I did. So I changed it up, moved the nesting boxes out there, because there is a door that I can close at night so that they can't get in their nesting boxes. And then there's their roost, and I opted to do 2 roosts at the same level because I had all of my chickens trying to sleep on the top roost, and the rest of them were on the floor or in the nesting boxes. So I just used 2x4s. We turned them on their side. We just found this was the best width. They are slightly rounded. I sanded them a little bit so they're slightly rounded on the edges, but they're not completely round. Seems like making a roost is an art. And then here is my dust bath area, which used to be and we will be doing something different over here. Probably be adding some more roost because I do have more chickens. And then let me go outside these are all free range chickens, so they're like nowhere to be found right now. Here's a couple of them. There's Charlie. Hi, buddy. And again, we just kind of have this, if we ever go on vacation, we need to get a roof on it. And we also need to finish this over here. Oh, hey, buddy. This is Ace. Hi. How you doing? That's Timothy. That's Red Dog. But anyway, we need to finish the coop. Right now it's not a big deal because we built this outside coop run so that they would have somewhere to be in the summertime. If we did go on vacation, I wouldn't want to probably free range my chickens while we were on vacation. They would probably stay in the coop and somebody would come by to feed and water them. And then this is just something we picked up online. I have some chickens that get beat up on, so they lay their eggs outside. I have a couple in there, it looks like. So this is just another nesting area. I kind of gave up because I free range. The chickens were laying eggs everywhere. And so I find that I put this one away from the actual nesting boxes where kind of like the head hens are. Then it seems to be that they don't lay their eggs wherever. All right, that's all. The wind is starting to pick up, and that is the end of our tour of the chicken coop / cleaning the coop. So I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye.